Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Got an update for you on the Memorial Day weekend forecast ahead. And again, like we've been talking about the past couple of days, it's going to be a pretty mixed bag depending on where you're at in the country. If you're up in the Ohio River Valley or up in the Northeast, it could be a really nice Memorial Day. But if you're down into the Carolinas and sections of Georgia and Virginia, maybe not so much. So definitely going to break that down for you in today's video. And much like yesterday's video, that will definitely be the main focus of today's video as we try to break this down as well as we can. With that said, if you are new here, definitely consider subscribing and like the video if you like it. Let me know where you're watching from as well. I also kind of just like to engage with you guys and see where you're watching from, and that also helps me plan these videos and kind of where to talk about the forecast for. So I think with all that said, that's really all the housekeeping things to start the video. Again, it's Thursday, so I'll have a video out tomorrow, and then I'll have a video out again on Sunday. Of course, we are taking Saturday off as we normally do. And yeah, I think that's really all there is. So let's go ahead and get into the forecast. So we're going to start with radar here, and it has been a really nice day here into sections of the East Coast. Really, everyone east of the Mississippi River has had a very nice day, except for a couple of places down here into the Florida Peninsula, where we do have some, stronger storms, including some flooding going on in places, and also kind of here into sections of North Carolina, also seeing a little bit of showers today in association with this low pressure that is beginning to kind of ramp up there off the Carolina coastline. So as we look ahead at the next 48 hours or so with our high-resolution rapid refresh model, as we go into tonight, expect continual, showers and storms over the Florida Peninsula. But really, I think as we get into tomorrow morning, a lot of the shower activity is going to be right off the Carolina coastline, and I can't rule out any of this making its way inland. So places like Fayetteville, Myrtle Beach, down even to Charleston and back up into the Outer Banks could see some showers and storms tomorrow morning. But really, I think tomorrow for Friday is going to be a relatively nice day for most of the Carolinas, minus some of those places there into the coastal region. So this is 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. You notice still some, showers and storms in Florida, especially central Florida, I think, but not nearly as bad for you Florida folks tomorrow afternoon. But tomorrow afternoon is also when this low pressure will finally kind of begin to work its way inland towards the Charleston area and begin to affect our forecast here in the Carolinas. Now again, luckily this isn't really much of a tropical low at all, and even if it tries to gain some of those tropical characteristics, it will very quickly get picking up by some upper level energy here and just turn into an upper level cutoff low over the southeast as we go through the next couple of days and into Memorial Day. But as we move this ahead into kind of sunset time on Friday, this rain is really beginning to work its way inland. So places like Florence, South Carolina, down towards Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, even as far down as Beaufort County, up through Fayetteville, North Carolina, maybe even to the Greenville, North Carolina area, getting in on that rain tomorrow evening. And throughout the overnight tomorrow, that will continue to move inland. And I think by the time we're getting into 8 a.m. Saturday, we have just an all-out rainstorm for a lot of folks here from Columbia, South Carolina, all the way eastbound through really everyone east of Columbia in South Carolina and into southern North Carolina as well. Before getting into Saturday afternoon, a lot of that heavy rain then works its way into the western Carolinas, into the Greenville, Spartanburg area, Anderson, Pickens, Oconee County, and even up through the Asheville area, getting in on that very heavy rainfall Saturday afternoon. Now, so this is kind of an interesting setup, although you'll notice we have this very heavy band of rain that will kind of work its way through South and North Carolina, but specifically South Carolina. We're going to get more of a continual flow here into places like Fayetteville, up towards Charlotte, Florence, as high pressure and low pressure are going to work in tandem here to really bring a lot of Atlantic moisture in here. So I talked about this in yesterday's video, and the Weather Prediction Center has latched onto this idea as well. A little bit of a pat on the back to myself. I feel like I kind of did well with this forecast so far, at least. We'll see if it verifies, but I really do see an area of enhanced rainfall here, kind of in this encircled area from Myrtle Beach to Fayetteville, back over towards Charlotte, in that kind of area. I think really is going to get a little bit of enhanced precipitation here just because of the flow around this low and high pressure. But again, looking at Saturday afternoon here, nonetheless, a lot of heavy rainfall here in the Carolinas. Now, as we move this ahead and look at more of a national view, because I know not everyone here is watching from the Carolinas, we will move this ahead. And as we get into tomorrow afternoon, a very nice day for everyone up here into the Ohio River Valley and up through the Northeast. So for you folks watching in Kentucky and West Virginia, where I know I have some followers watching today, I'm sure, it looks like a really nice day tomorrow with high temperatures getting up around 80 with really nice kind of dry air mass setting up over that region. And also for you folks up there, Memorial Day looks quite nice, maybe a bit cloudy, but definitely looks pretty dry up in that area. Now, as we get into Saturday afternoon, again, heavy rainfall in the Carolinas, but if you're up into the Northeast, really from the Virginia line up towards the Northeast and through the Ohio River Valley, still looks very nice. And even for you folks in other parts of the Southeast, Saturday looks like a great day to get outside and maybe enjoy some of that nicer weather. Now, as we bring this into Sunday afternoon, I think the overall cloudiness and overall just kind of shower activity will likely expand here into the east, although the heavy rain won't be quite as bad. So this will likely be more of just scattered showers, but more coverage of those scattered showers up into Virginia, West Virginia, sections of eastern Kentucky, and just kind of cloudy weather. And we'll take a look at the cloud coverage forecast here in a second. But although the Carolinas are going to get the heavy rain out of this, kind of the cloudy weather and maybe a bit breezy as well as some scattered showers will kind of expand as we get into Sunday afternoon. And also for a Memorial Day afternoon, not as bad as Sunday as this low pressure kind of begins to kick its way out, but still some scattered showers and cloudy weather here into the southeast and mid-Atlantic before finally we get into Tuesday afternoon and the upper level low finally kicks its way back out to sea, and we have, I don't want to necessarily say nicer weather because it'll be more muggy and warmer, but less wet weather, I guess, going into the middle and later parts of next week. So a good way to show this to you is our velocity map, and you'll notice you get that low pressure to form off the southeast coast while we get an upper level piece of energy to form here over kind of the St. Louis area. So let me change colors here so you can see this a little bit better. This is for later tomorrow. One, we have this low pressure working inland, but we also have an upper level low over, sections of the St. Louis area, as I was just talking about. And what's going to happen as we get to Saturday afternoon, these two are going to kind of phase together and combine. So that upper level low and kind of that piece of energy more at the surface are eventually going to overlap, combine, and we're going to just get one big kind of upper level low over the southeast and mid-Atlantic. So you'll see these two kind of begin to phase together. And as we're looking at Sunday afternoon here, we just have a big time upper level low over Georgia and the Carolinas. And again, this is going to allow a pretty big field of scattered showers and cloud cover for our Sunday afternoon. Again, before we kind of get into Monday, and you'll notice that low pressure finally begins to work off the southeast coast, but especially getting into Tuesday afternoon, it looks much nicer as that works off into the Atlantic Ocean. So looking at the precipitable water map here, kind of just to help to show where we have the most of that moisture that we can kind of wring out with this low pressure this weekend, we'll move this into Friday afternoon. And again, you'll notice most of this kind of confined to the Carolina coastline. But as we get into Saturday afternoon, we get that tandem of rotation around that low pressure and that high pressure that are going to work together to really pump in a lot of that moisture in the air here into those areas I was talking about that are specifically at risk for some of that flooding, I think, this weekend. And that hangs around into Sunday afternoon, although less extreme, and that even kind of moves up a bit further north into Virginia by the time we get into Sunday afternoon. And eventually that kind of begins to die out a little bit as we get into Memorial Day itself. So looking at the cloud cover map, again, we'll start with Friday afternoon here. Friday afternoon, again, looks relatively nice for most of us outside of this area of the southeast. But once we get into Saturday afternoon, that cloud cover expands over the southeast, and especially Sunday afternoon, you'll notice we have a much larger area of that cloud cover due to that upper level low helping to kind of bring some of those clouds in from the Atlantic. So we'll definitely watch for that. But as we get into Memorial Day itself on Monday, I do expect those clouds to break up a little bit and have overall more partly cloudy skies than overall overcast skies going into Monday. And then Tuesday afternoon, we should really kind of lose some of that cloud cover and have more just partly cloudy skies going into Tuesday. So another big story of this is just how cold it's going to be on Saturday. This is going to, bring in a lot of kind of colder energy, because with that upper level low, it kind of helps bring some of that colder air from the top of the troposphere down to the surface. And we're only going to have highs in the, 50s and low 60s on Saturday here into much of the Carolinas, specifically central and western Carolinas. So it's going to feel like fall. It's going to feel like, some of those days we have in fall that are very cloudy, windy, and wet. That's what Saturday is going to feel like. Now, I think once we get into Sunday and especially Monday, those temperatures do rebound, but Saturday definitely does look to be the coldest of all of the days this weekend. Also on Saturday is whenever we have that flooding threat, and again, this is aligns very well with what I was talking about yesterday in terms of where I thought we had that highest flooding potential. And again, that yellow area definitely has a pretty good shot at seeing some flooding and maybe some flash flooding for some of us folks here into the Carolinas, and we'll definitely watch those areas on Saturday. Now, latest Weather Prediction Center forecast for exactly how much rain we're going to see. Again, that bullseye kind of especially here into southeastern North Carolina, but also, areas inland as well could see a lot of this rain. So for you folks there into southeastern North Carolina, 3 to 5 inches looks very possible. From Charlotte to Columbia, 1 to 3 inches of rain looks pretty possible. And for the Raleigh metro area, right around 2 to 4 inches of rain looks to be pretty likely. So, again, this will likely change, but this is just an overall idea of what the Weather Prediction Center is thinking right now. So that's all I've really got for today. Again, we've got kind of a pretty complicated forecast this weekend before going into later next week. I do see a heat wave of sorts on the way. So if you're ready for the lake or the beach, I really do think going past this, it does look like a pretty good time frame to maybe get out there and enjoy some more of that summertime weather. But until then, we're going to have to get through this kind of unfortunate time period this weekend. But with all that said, hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.